Frank, Hayes, and JJ.
Hit it!
It's time for The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What are we doing? Let's go. Welcome to The Frangie Show. Frangie is here. He will be here
late?
momentarily.
Late? What time does that show start
Yeah.
anyway?
Boy, yeah,
What
that's
time we
fun.
started these days?
Yeah.
What time's that
JJ
for?
LaSelva's here. He's in position.
What
He's
time-
ready to do a radio
what
show.
time's that for?
JJ, it's good to see you.
We
What
are
time's that
about
4 o'clock show start? Do we know?
10 seconds too early. So
We're
I'll give
starting
him
at 4
that.
o'clock these days? How are we doing?
Doing good. How are
I
you?
was down the hall. I was talking to Ken Brady. He's our general sales manager. He's making action happen.
Yeah.
Talking to the boss. I'm wandering is what I was doing. Sometimes you got to wander.
You're welcome to go back out there. We can handle
You
it.
guys, we're better off without you, bro. Okay, so there's that going on. So, all right, glad you were here. I didn't do the new drug thing or anything. Did you do a new drug
Nah,
thing?
that
my
new
thing.
drug thing
Yeah,
is
kinda,
yours.
yeah.
I'm doing the old drugs still.
You know what? I respect that. By the way, I was going to ask you guys. This is like I actually even put this on my notes. How do we feel about the Sebastian guy? You like him?
Sebastian.
The Ibis?
No.
I love him.
What's his last name? Maniscalco, the comedian guy.
Oh,
Do
I've
we like him or
actually
not?
never seen him.
I think he's pretty
Do we-
funny.
do we
He's
like
not like
him?
one of my favorites, but yeah, we've watched his comedy. I think he actually has a pretty recent one.
Yeah, well,
I want to say we watched one over like Thanksgiving
Yeah.
or Christmas that was pretty good.
he's kind of like all the rage now. He's so because the Saturday Night Live guy did a really great impersonation of him. So is he over the top? JJ, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know him, but I honestly have never
Okay.
seen his stand.
He's definitely not over the top. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen enough of his. I mean, he's funny, but he's not like.
Okay.
It's not like Andrew Dice Clay or anything like that.
No.
which I would appreciate.
See,
but-
I'm not smart. I'm not smart. I'm not smart enough to know how the whole how they always know what you want. You know, like if you go
Your
on social-
algorithm, you
Yeah,
mean?
I don't know
Yeah.
how I've never known really how the algorithm thing works. I'm not smart enough to know. But I know if I watch him once or twice and I stay on it
That's all you'll see for the next 2 days.
for 2 days,
Yeah.
that's all I get.
Dude, I was up. I'm not joking. Monday night, I was up till like 2 in the morning because I was just on YouTube, and the shorts kept showing me like baseball card trading shows, and I have zero interest in
Yeah,
that. But I
right.
was just like
But you
locked
must,
in.
But
I
somewhere
couldn't
along
get
the
out
line,
of it.
you did it because
Yeah.
once you do it once,
Yeah,
and once you do
that
it,
was it.
I mean, if you watch, if I go, I say, you know what, I want to pull up on YouTube the Eagles singing "Peaceful Easy Feeling." Okay, I want to do that. Well, I will now see every Eagles song ever recorded live because that's what the algorithm does. So there's that.
Oh yeah, I'm very like I know everything about Topps' 2018 Otani rookie set.
You also have to kind of be like aware of it too in terms of things that you don't really want to end up seeing. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I must have clicked on something, a political tweet
Yeah.
3 years ago,
That's all you get.
and it is beyond belief. And I mean, I don't care about any of this. And it just, and Twitter is now with Twitter, you've got the For You and you've got just the people you follow. But I like the For You in
Me
case
too.
there's something interesting
Yeah.
with somebody that I don't follow. But that's where you got to be careful.
For You's
because
dangerous.
if
Oh,
you,
yeah.
For You's dangerous.
because that algorithm
Yeah.
is exactly
It's very
like that.
divisive.
Yes.
The For You's dangerous. There's no. It's a very
Absolutely.
dangerous thing.
It gives me all my hurricane stuff, but it's also like, don't you want to kill everyone in the world now? It's like, wow. I mean, I guess Twitter is cool for the Kane stuff, but you got to deal with the other stuff.
All right, we got a lot to do on the program. Brett Hastings stops by in a little bit. We're going to talk all about so much going on in the college space now. So much is going on about who's suing who, the Mensa stuff, the Alabama Bediaco stuff. So Brett's going to sort through some of that when he gets in here today. So he's running a little bit late, but he'll be here in just a bit, and we'll be talking sports and of course with Brett Hastings in just a bit. Todd Monken got a job. As expected, when someone that's not one of the young guns gets it, it gets crushed. Have you noticed that? Other than Harbaugh, if it's not a young gun, so apparently everybody in Cleveland's melting down. Have you seen? Is it like just like the Pittsburgh people did with McCarthy? I got this feeling he might be okay because he was on nobody's hot list. He's not anybody's young gun. he's all these lists. Every time a job's open, you can pick the 8 young guns that are good, and of them, 5 are going to interview for it. You know what I mean? And our 2 guys are 2 of the young guns who are interviewing for all these jobs, Udinski and Campanile. So, but Todd wasn't on it, and I'm biased a little bit because Todd's a friend of mine. He lived in my neighborhood when he coached here. We stayed in touch all during all the interviews and all the jobs, and I will preface this with a bias. He's also a regular guy, you know. And so Todd's a guy that loves to go have a beer, and so so that's all my bias in place. I think he might be all right. Well, and it's a tough job. No matter, to your point, you've made that point. No matter who gets it, good luck, right? But I think he might do about as well as you can do in that job. And Stefanski's a good coach and doesn't have the job anymore, so I get it. But I think he may be okay.
Well, I mean, again, I would start with, he knows the division. He was exceptional in his last role.
Correct.
I mean, as the Ravens offensive coordinator, I mean, he was able to unlock things in Lamar Jackson that, previously weren't there. And again, they never really had. Zay Flowers is a nice weapon, but they've really never had a great group of receivers there. Andrews is a good tight end, although he's obviously not clutch at all. Likely has been a interesting backup tight end who's somebody that I actually think might flourish if he is a free agent now, lands in a system where he can be on the field more. But yeah, I thought, Todd Monken really elevated the Ravens in terms of their offense prior to his arrival to where he got it to. And I know this year wasn't particularly, stellar for any, aspect of Baltimore's team, but I don't think that's on Todd Monken. So he knows the division, he knows the league. He doesn't have a ton of experience as a head coach for being somebody that is 60, but yeah, I mean, he is. I think he's also got a good temperament for it. They need like an even keel, but I know knows the league. They need some experience. Now they've muddied it with Jim Schwartz, who reportedly is upset that he didn't get the job,
right?
And now he wants out, even though he's under contract. And obviously, he's a elite defensive coordinator. So that's a headache that arrives at Monken's door immediately in terms of trying to smooth that over. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be really difficult for anybody because they just don't. I mean, what do you do with Deshaun Watson? What is, you got Shedeur Sanders, who is the biggest, joke of a Pro Bowler since Tyler Huntley made it. So, there's not much there. But I do think he's got the right temperament to give them a chance at least.
He's a good mix, in my opinion. He's a good mix of forward-thinking offensive mind, like the offensive young guns, yet a little bit of a crusty older guy. He turns 60 in a couple weeks. He'll be 60 when he's 60 on February 5th. So he'll be 60 when he coaches. But he's got that Hazy's got that ornery crankiness that the old coaches have. But he's to your point, he's a very forward-thinking offensive mind. He really is. He is that guy. He was that guy at Georgia, won 2 titles, so, and certainly was that guy, to your point, with the Ravens. We'll see how he does. By the way, it's in everybody's best interest if Jim Schwartz is not there because he really wanted the job. I had heard through some circles that he wanted the job and was going to make a run at Grant Udinski to come be his play calling coordinator. I had heard that. Now I don't know that Grant would have wanted to do that. Hopefully Grant won't leave here until he's a head coach. That's really my hope. But since he wasn't calling plays, I had heard. I might have told you that because I had heard that there was some talk about promoting Jim Schwartz and then bringing in Grant Udinski as the play calling offensive coordinator. So to be honest with you, I worried. Again, it was a rumor, so I wasn't going to go throw rumors out on the radio, but I did worry that might happen. So Schwartz really wanted the job. I mean, he really, really wanted the job. So, Schwartz, I think you're better off with a fresh start. We'll see what ends up happening there. So, all right, a lot of things to talk about today on the program. Brett Hastings comes by to sort out some of this college eligibility stuff. I did see this the other day. Chad Baker-Mazara, you know who that is. Mm-hmm. He was a very good player for Auburn last year. By the way, one of the main reasons they were in the Final Four, they were the number 1 overall seed, and he's one of the main. He was a really good player. Made a bunch of threes against Florida in that semifinal game. Then left for USC for a bunch of money. He's 26.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
He's 26.
Sounds like he plays linebacker for the U.
He's playing college basketball. He's 26 years old. I mean, I didn't think of him as one of the 7-year guys, and I don't follow Auburn basketball that close or USC basketball. He's 26.
It's incredible. Yeah, I saw the tweet that pointed out Zion Williamson is younger.
It's the tweet.
And he's been in the league
That's
for
the tweet I saw, 4
or 5 years.
He's older than Zion Williamson.
Luka's 26.
Yeah.
Wow.
Luka's 26. Think about Luka.
I feel like Luka's been playing for 10 years.
Doesn't feel that
already,
way.
yeah.
And Chad Baker-Mazara is 26 years old. So it's a mess. So we'll certainly sort some of that out with Brett coming out. Other things. I got a thought about the whole the Belichick thing has gone so viral. I got a thought about the solution to that maybe a little bit. We're certainly going to talk about that coming up on the program today. I want to get into broadcast teams. I had this on my notes yesterday. We just didn't get to it because we had a lot of stuff. Has Brady gotten better? That's all. Andrew Marchand's talked a great deal about how much better Tom Brady is. I didn't think Brady was as terrible as everybody else thought last year. I thought that was overrated. And I think maybe Marchand is pumping him up because he gave him an interview. I don't know how many interviews Tom Brady. Did you see that? I don't know if you follow Andrew Marchand or not.
Yeah. And really, he's like one of the only guys that really covers media.
He really
so
is.
It's almost to the point where whatever he writes shapes the industry narrative.
It really does.
Because there just aren't that many, publications just aren't going to devote a slot in their budget to somebody who only really covers sports media.
Well, he's the one national guy that's his thing. He's the one national guy that's if Schefter's and Rappaport, the NFL guys.
I mean, boy, does he despise Tony Romo.
Yeah, he can't stand Romo. So
it's unbelievable.
I didn't know that.
My God.
Yeah, he's talked about how Nance. But
he basically will say, "Well, this was a good game for Romo and Nance because they weren't a complete embarrassment."
That really is. That's exactly right. That's him. So we'll certainly get to some of that. I want to talk about broadcast teams. I want to talk about the Belichick thing. Big one tonight in Columbia, South Carolina.
Big one.
9 o'clock. It's one of those games, you hear me say it a lot, Hayes. It's one of those games you need to not lose. There's some games that'll be big if you can win it. You need to not lose this one.
Yeah.
You just lost.
You lose this one, and it changes how people view you for sure, as it should.
Correct. Because here comes Alabama in, too. Yeah. I don't know how many play. I mean, Lord knows, maybe Robert Horry's going to be playing for him. But, I mean, Alabama comes in on Sunday with a pretty good basketball team.
Yeah, they crushed Missouri last
night. By the way, that judge has recused himself.
That's right.
So I don't know if that will eventually affect the game on Sunday, but it might.
The SEC basketball wars or something. I saw our mutual friend Zach Ricketts today.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Zach,
Kentucky fan.
Very lamented. It was. I didn't. By
Didn't
the way,
they get pounded?
They got destroyed, 80-55, and they were never in.
They lost by 25,
and made some mistakes that literally a child's basketball team wouldn't make. Like they turned it over because the guy inbounded it. And then the guy threw it right back to him, and then he inbounded it.
Thinking he was getting
and the ref was just like, "What are you doing?" And just signaled to Vanderbilt.
Zach was telling me about that. I didn't see it, and so Zach and his lovely wife Jessie is a big Florida fan, and he's a diehard Kentucky fan, and they go to the Kentucky-Florida games all the time. So I asked him today. They play on a couple weeks, and on Valentine's Day.
Played twice this year.
They play on Valentine's Day. I said, "You going to go down?" He says, "No." And then he kind of softened up a little bit. He goes, "Well, if she wants to go, we might. We'll see." So, but anyway, it's SEC basketball's crazy. But let's take a break. When we get back, again, Brett Hastings is on his way. He had some important court stuff to do. I don't know why that would ever trump what we do, but it must. But he's on his way. A lot of issues in the college space. It's kind of a potpourri of stuff. Brett will get to some of that coming up. I do want to talk about Bill Belichick a little bit later on. I got all kind of fun stuff. Todd Monken has a job. More on that coming up in a bit. Gator basketball tonight. Glad you're with us on this Wednesday. Our Wednesday is always brought to you by our friends at Coyle & Sons Fence Company, the best fence company in town. Always my friends at Coyle & Sons. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
How can you describe Lauren Brooks?
At 16, she won the gold, turned pro, and was named one of Barbara Walters' most fascinating persons.
Lauren Brooks, afternoons 2 to 4.
You like strong women. I've done my homework.
On 1010XL.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers. and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 28, 2001, the Baltimore Ravens defeat the New York Giants by a final score of 34-7 in the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis would be named the game's most valuable player.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident, and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
David Garrard here, and once again, I'm reporting good news about how good my knees are doing following PRP treatment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. For an old quarterback like me, my knees are in great shape.
You don't have to be a celebrity or a professional athlete to appreciate the everyday personal attention you'll receive at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. For any orthopedic need, call on the pros at SOS.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. Big Chief Tire makes getting new tires easier than ever with the Big Chief credit card. There's no annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, even $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything at Big Chief Tire. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and let Big Chief help you get back on the road with confidence.
I'm with Refuse Cycles at Jacksonville, and the fall part of the year just offers so much fun, especially when you're out and about. Tell everybody what's happening with Triumph right now.
They have got a lot of new models on the road, from Scrambler 400s. They've got the legendary Rocket motorcycle. Lots of really cool bikes to choose from.
And the price point and all the tricks that come with the Triumph bike, they're all there.
They're all there. Entry level to the greatest of the great. We've got them.
Look for them online, cyclesofjacksonville.com. Check out their Facebook page or that showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than with Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. All you do is pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. It's just that simple. Now Prize Picks has early payouts. If your lineup is off to a hot start, you have the option to cash out before the game even finishes. At Prize Picks, how you play, it's up to you. Download the Prize Picks app today, use promo code 1010XL, and get $50 in lineups instantly when you play $5 in lineups. Prize Picks, good to be right.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
You made it.
I did make it.
You did good.
Yeah.
You did well. I mean, he had that unimportant stuff like his job that somehow was almost going to trump this. So I hope that will never happen. So
yeah, it was just personally meeting with a client, you know, who had, just been involved in a pretty significant, traffic crash and wanted to be there for him. And it's one of the things with the new firm merger, I'm able to be involved at the inception of these cases. So it's great. I kind of wanted to get back to it. It hadn't been that way, for a few years, and now that's the way it is.
And you and I have talked offline. That was you've told me.
Yeah.
So that's good. So good for you. And I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad you're able to spend some time with it. But now let's get to some sports stuff. Charles Bediako.
Yes.
I asked you last week. It wasn't our topic, but I threw it in at the end. What does it mean when you get an injunction? Does that it's just a win. It's a win for whoever wants to play when they're 98 years old, right? I mean,
it is. And, we talked about it generally, but there are a couple little technicalities that really matter here. Okay. Right now, we've heard the term TRO, right? That's a temporary restraining order. Okay. And what happens is under due process means that there needs to be notice of something and that there needs to be an opportunity to be heard. And when you first initially go and try to get a restraining order, you have to sign an affidavit. So you're saying it's under oath. There's something that sticks to it. Okay. And so what happened is they had made a petition and filed for a temporary restraining order. the court here, and there's been a lot made of it. The judge that had signed off on the temporary restraining order, which is basically a legal document where the other side hasn't been heard, but they do it under oath, right? They sign it in front of a notary, so it's subject to perjury. He looks at all of that and says, "Hey, will I or won't I enter the temporary restraining order?" It then goes into place. And as we had talked about before, injunctions are important because what they usually, the elements are likelihood of success on the merits and maintaining the status quo. And we talked about, examples if there was a really important antique building and before it got ripped down, you might seek an injunction to stop that until things could be figured out. Well, right now we haven't had the hearing on the injunction for the long term. Okay. And, JJ might even seen this. I'd heard him say that the judge had just recused himself. I'd heard the other day, like the hearing was about to take place and it had been continued for 10 more days because the NCAA attorney was unavailable, which means the guy gets to play against the Gators, which all the listeners would want to know. But at that hearing, it's kind of like a trial at the beginning. So the NCAA is going to be heard. There'll be much more in-depth briefing of this. There'll have to be testimony from each of the sides, and then a permanent injunction, right? Where a temporary injunction would be there. If the permanent goes into place, he's going to get to play for the rest of the season. And in looking into this a little bit more, when you and I had talked about this as a topic, I think what's interesting is he played 2 years, okay? Didn't work out in the NBA, was on one of these two-way contracts in the G League, but he's still within that 5 years, overall, which is different from some of the other cases where people had been outside that time window, had clearly been pros and wanted to come back. So right now, that would be sort of the precedent. Could you go and it not work out in the pros, but still be within sort of this 5-year window and come back to college basketball?
The judge recusing himself, do you think that matters much in this?
I was shocked that he signed off on it. And I haven't had the ability to verify this in talking about another judge, but my understanding was he was a 6-figure donor, right, of the University of Alabama.
That's what all the stories say.
Well, and I can tell you what the Alabama judicial canons, right, which are the ethics rules for judges are, the test is not whether the judge is actually biased, but whether the facts create any appearance of partiality.
Right.
Which,
well,
we've
course.
got the appearance of partiality, Alabama's probably saying, well, what, are we going to get an Auburn judge? Maybe that goes the other way. But
let me ask you this: as a lawyer, a veteran, experienced and a very good one, what is from your prism of being a lawyer? We talk about sports for a living, so we may have a different view of this. I am greatly concerned. I hope I framed this right. I am greatly concerned that rules now will become inconsequential in college athletics because even if it's the rule that the organization agreed to, lawyers and judges can override that. That is not, and I know collective bargaining changes that, but we don't have that.
Right.
So Brett, I'm very concerned that lawyers and judges at the state level or wherever can change the rules we've had forever. And I don't know that there's an end to that. And I'm not blaming the lawyers and the judges. They got a job to do too. But did I frame that properly? Does that big picture bother you?
I absolutely understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand the concern. What we're going to have is some chaos before it settles. For example, this temporary restraining order could become a permanent injunction. But I do think this is the type of case that the NCAA say we may continue to litigate it so that it can go up higher, right? Appellate courts, go to the United States Supreme Court, right? We remember, sort of the initial opinions, right, that the President Trump wanted to see in place. Get this up to where there's a final determination that everybody, could deal with. There could be a Supreme Court case if you followed it all the way through. Is it going to happen before the end of this season? No. Is it going to happen? Could this impact, the way the tournament's going to go forward, the way these things are going to go forward in the short term? They are. So right now you have a little bit of chaos, but each of these individual judges' actions on these injunctions are going to ultimately get challenged, go to a place where we have binding precedent, and at least this issue will be resolved. The problem is we got 50 issues, in collegiate athletics. And, I know I feel like a broken record when I come in here and say it. We got to get this employee thing figured out, because once we do, we'll have so much more certainty in these rules. We would have collective bargaining, and then we can have an agreed to set of rules that players, universities, and then even the pro leagues could rely on and have, some measure of consistency.
Yeah, because and you said it, and I'll give Hayes credit. Hayes has said, look out, we're going to get to where a 41-year-old guy can go play college athletics if he wants to, because his lawyer will sue that he's being denied the chance to earn a wage. I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's essentially what. And when you first said that, I said, Hayes, you're being extreme. I worry now that that's where we're headed. And let me give you an example. Trinidad Chambliss is a wonderful story. And I hope he gets to play college football next year, because he's just fun to watch playing college football. But for 100 years, if he appealed for a hardship and the NCAA said no, the case was over. Now, if he appeals for a hardship, which he did, the NCAA says no, which it did, we all know what's next. Here come the lawyers. Here comes the lawsuit. Here comes the
Ole Miss judge.
Here comes the old possibly. Here comes the Ole Miss judge. Here comes the injunction, and he plays. And Hayes, it really worries me that that's what's happened now. And so all the rules go away, because if you don't like the way a rule is adjudicated, you just sue.
Right. And I think in getting back to the Alabama player, I don't think I'll ask you. It certainly doesn't seem like he is going to be told he cannot play. Would you be stunned at this point? I mean, there's 2 months left in the season, and that's if Alabama goes all the way. Would you be shocked if he's told that, no, you can't play anymore?
So he's only playing right now because there's an injunction is a court order, right? So there's this temporary injunction. So there is a court order in place. Think of it before the complete evidentiary hearing or the trial. He could lose in the injunction hearing, right? There's now a different judge. The judge who just signed this is not the judge that's going to make the determination who's going to hear the evidence. So if they lose that hearing, he's not going to play. If he wins that hearing, then he's going to continue to play. If they lose that hearing, I still think this will then be appealed by the NCAA and try to get it to higher courts so that there could be some binding effect as it relates to it. What I think was interesting once I looked at the timing perspectives, and there's think about it, this guy can make more money at Alabama than he can in the G League, right? So we have So they're going to keep challenging it, right? It's going to keep happening. And we need legal precedent to give us some guide as it relates to it. But I understand what, Frank and Hayes, and I think all the listeners are saying, like, oh, wow, they've lawyered up and sort of gamed this up. Well, yes, for the short term, but I think ultimately there's going to be some determination, as it relates to it. But the big domino, right? The big sports and courts when we come in here is when they're going to say, hey, this is a sham. There's going to be a landmark decision, okay, that's going to come in and say NIL is a sham. And this is a facade, and this is a pay-for-play agreement, and these people were defined as employees. And then you will have so many other ripple effects that will really, make some of these other things be moot or what have you. And I do think then that they could work out plausible restrictions and say, hey, you can be employed here the way you are. I was a teaching assistant at University of Florida in the College of Journalism before I went to law school, right? But say limit it to a time frame. It could be a wide open market, as it relates to it. And then that would be something that I think could kind of preserve the traditions, right, of what we have in collegiate athletics. And then maybe we would not have instant, guys could sign 3-year deals.
Yeah.
And maybe, he's going to be a Gator for a while. And then people aren't plucking these things out, and more importantly, could we just get everybody in one room and pick out portal rules that work and a schedule that works? And, that's where there's just so many problems right now.
And until we do get in that room, and back to Hayes' thought about Bediako, here's why he's going to play, because the same thing we said last week at the end of your segment and we started this thing. He doesn't need to win the case. He just needs his lawyers to keep it alive long enough for the basketball season to end,
which is 2 months away.
That's just, I mean, so this isn't about winning.
Well,
this is
the
about
injunction hearing will be a significant matter. And,
Okay.
you know, I've when I was doing commercial litigation, I've litigated these things. We'd get halfway through them, and there would be such high stakes that then the people, you know, would go work them out. You know, where I represented orthopedic companies and employees were trying to, you know, work in specific areas or what have you. But this has become a relatively important test case. I think the NCAA for the first time has people backing its legal position,
Correct.
which is a rarity, right? We
That's
look
a
at
great
all of
point.
these other
Great
NCAA
point.
cases.
Right.
This is something where I think other coaches are pro it. I know most other fans that are not Alabama fans are pro it. So I think this is one where the NCAA is really going to try to go and push it. And you're right. Lose in state court in Alabama and try to get this to go further up the line and end up being the type of precedent that can change what's going on in collegiate athletics.
You said something that's a really key point. I was thinking the same thing. Nobody ever roots for the NCAA to win, but in this case, there's 351 Division I basketball programs or something like that, and 350 of them are rooting against this kid. I mean, that's usually not the case. I mean, maybe it's 336 and 330. You get the point.
Yeah.
Everybody else thinks this is a bunch of crap. I mean, there's not just Auburn and Florida and Georgia and Tennessee fans who are their rivals. Someone in Montana thinks this is crap. Someone at Fresno State thinks this is crap.
And all those 360 schools have 3-point shooters better than Xavier and Lee. You know? So
yeah, can we sue anybody there?
Yeah, negligent infliction.
Florida,
of
by the
emotional
way, 359th in the country out of 365 teams.
So it's
shooting the
65.
three.
There's 365.
And you know what? They're going to be fine tonight. They bounce back with Golden after these games. So
what are they?
You guys are trying to scare me on the way in. I feel good about it.
They're 359th out of 365.
Yeah, and can I tell you this? Those other 6 teams must be really bad shooters.
Really bad.
I agree.
All right, Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hey, I know you've been scrambling around today. Thanks for making it by. We appreciate it.
Take care.
Back in a moment, I want to talk about Bill Belichick after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
All right, folks, our private equity fund just bought another one in Jacksonville.
Love it. Let's make sure the website says locally trusted.
Should we change the number to a Florida area code?
Nah, just pretend we're local.
Meanwhile, Holland Sons Plumbing didn't need a rebrand to stay local. We're family-owned, veteran-operated, and proud to call Jacksonville home. So if you want a plumber who actually lives in your neighborhood, not in a boardroom, call Holland Sons Plumbing. Holland Sons Plumbing. Locally owned, nationally unbothered.
Hey gang, Hicken here. You got some big milestones coming up in the new year. Getting engaged, celebrating a big anniversary. Beards Diamonds is ready for you. After a record-breaking year in 2025, Beards Diamonds is fully stocked for the new year with a massive selection of exquisite diamonds, designer rings, all the latest fashion jewelry. Beards is the go-to place for all things jewelry here. They have the highest possible standards, full transparency, price integrity, uncompromising quality, and customer service that doesn't come from a policy manual. It comes from the heart. At Beards, their non-commissioned experts are there to help you, to guide you, to show you all your options, to show you how to maximize your budget. And remember, Beards is locally owned, not big part of Wall Street conglomerate like the other jewelers at the town center. No, no, no. Beards run circles around them because they are accountable, not to Wall Street, but to you. So for that memorable moment in 2026, just know this. Get to Beards and they will hook you up. Shop local, shop Beards. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Renewal by Andersen is ringing in the new year with a happy renewal year sale. Buy one, get one 40% off all replacement windows and doors. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 1 year. Renewal by Andersen's Acclaim Impact windows are built for Florida, designed to help you save on energy bills while keeping your home comfortable year-round. Sale ends January 31st. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. License number CGC 1527613. Renewal by Andersen, where comfort meets savings.
Get your tickets for the Tom Coughlin J Fund Wine Tasting Gala. Join Super Bowl winning coach Tom Coughlin at VyStar Ballpark Thursday, March 5th and raise a glass to help local families tackling childhood cancer. Enjoy hundreds of wines from around the world and food from top local restaurants. Buy tickets and learn more at tcjfund.org/wine. tcjfund.org/wine.
It's Taylor. Valentine's Day is just a few weeks away, but don't do what you probably do every year. Last-minute grocery store flowers, questionable strawberries, and a box of forgettable chocolate. This year, step up your game. Pre-order fresh, hand-dipped strawberries and beautifully crafted artisan chocolates from Peterbrook Chocolatier. With 15 North Florida locations, you probably drove past one today. Up your game this Valentine's Day with a gift that actually impresses. And trust me, you'll score more points with your Valentine. Find your closest location at peterbrook.com. Peterbrook.com.
Running a small business is tough, so the Florida Small Business Development Center at UNF provides a free business checkup, a personalized analysis that helps you boost profits, your online presence, and increase your company's value. No cost, no strings attached. It's guidance from experts who understand what it takes to succeed in business. Whether you're just starting out or ready to expand, it's time to act. Complete a request for consulting at unf.edu/SBDC.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
Matt, I've been seeing those red Coyle trucks out of the Breakin Baseball Complex all week. They're redoing all our fencing, and man, have they done a good job. I can see the way they do it, the grade of fence they use, the time they put into it. I can see why they're the best in the business. My friends at Coyle & Sons Fencing, call them at 904-356-4821 or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com. The Belichick thing is easy to solve. You want me to solve it?
Please.
They screwed it up. We now know that. They say, well, you had to vote for 3, and some people don't like to vote for coaches. Quit, stop. Anything now to try and explain it, even if you're trying to rationally explain it, is going to fall on such deaf ears. It's okay to say you got it wrong. It's okay. Because now everybody knows you got it wrong. The committee should come out and say, revote. By the way, you know who had a revote? Hickory High, okay? And if they didn't have a revote, okay, Norman Dale's not even the coach. You know what else happens? Jimmy doesn't make that shot late. Is that right? Okay.
I believe this country's had a couple of revotes.
Yes, it has.
Some hanging chads.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was more really interested in the Norman Dale, but you're exactly right about that. But I'm not kidding about this part. The process is flawed now based on how many they can pick and how they pick it. Look, it's okay to say, listen, we're embarrassed by it, as you all told us we should be. We got this wrong. Doesn't matter which 11 voters or 13 voters or however many can. We're going to revote. We're going to change how we process this. I'm not smart enough to know what the process should be. It's okay in America for people to say we got it wrong. It's okay. They got it wrong. They've embarrassed the hall. They've embarrassed the hall voters. It's a bad moment. It's a bad moment now for the Hall of Fame. Just say you got it wrong and redo it, and I'm okay with that. I mean, well, you can't do that, but yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Why not fix the mistake you made, and then in a very ignominious way, you've got to get up and say, listen, we're embarrassed by it, but it's the best thing that could have happened because we've tightened up our process, we've changed our process, and at the end of the day, we got it right. And he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he needs to be recognized as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And no matter how badly we did it the first time, we fixed it.
I don't know that the 11 at minimum that voted against him regret it.
Then they're idiots.
I've seen no one come out and say, I voted no, but now regret it that he didn't get in. So, I mean, obviously he should be in as a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I don't get a sense that, we've heard from some of the voters that did vote for him.
I haven't heard from anybody that didn't.
But exactly.
Interesting how that works.
Yeah.
Right. But to your point about like redoing it, you'd have to have remorse from the ones that voted against him to do that. And I have seen no iota of evidence that anybody who didn't vote for him regrets it in light of him not getting in. So I think he had 11 people that had it out for him, and whether it was for scandal or whatever. But and I don't agree with it. It would have been the biggest no-brainer if I was in the room. Of course he's a Hall of Famer and he should go in the first time he's eligible. But yeah, and the process has gotten. I thought it raised eyebrows last year, because I thought last year it was surprising the class that they inducted and some of the guys that didn't make it in, and to now see this, because we do know, obviously we follow this very closely for years with Tony Baselli and now with Fred Taylor. And so we follow the process. And when they adjusted how they do the voting, it was a concern. And those fears have bared out in what was, I thought, a tough year for them last year. Nothing to this level, but a tough year. And now you've got just a complete embarrassment with the Belichick thing. But look, I think there's 11 people at a minimum. That's the scary thing. Everybody just
have no
assumes
idea.
It's 11. It might have been 19 people.
Well, to your point, Hayes, nobody. I hear you, because we live in this world that I was never wrong. I stand by my convictions because I got it right. And we live in a world that sometimes people don't want to say I got it wrong. Well, you did get it wrong. Okay, so to your point, I don't know. My guess is the however many didn't put him in, there's at least some percentage of them that are more embarrassed and hiding from it than are boldly saying I was right. Because I think if they did, they'd say that. I don't think you're going to see anybody come out and say I voted.
Did you actually hear what Polian said? He said, I don't actually remember if I voted for him.
Yeah, I'll bet he did. Okay, well, so right. Well, that tells you all it needs.
Dude,
that
just
tells
straight
you
up lying to our face.
Right.
And he said that because people were insinuating that he was the one who came up with well, maybe we should let him sit for a year because of the Spygate, Deflategate, whatever. He admitted that was brought up during the discussion. So like Hayes said, it could have been a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's because, no question. But I just hope sometimes in our world, it's okay to say, upon further review, we probably got that one wrong. Because nobody wants to do that. But we all know they got it wrong. You all now know they got it wrong. Whoever's the head of the operation come out and say, listen, we got that one wrong. And so we're going to fix it, and here's how we're going to fix it. We change the process to this, and this, whatever that is. We're going to rethink this. There's going to be a review process, and we've had a revote, and Bill Belichick is going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, like the entire sporting world knows he should be. That's my point. It's okay. We've all missed on him. It's okay to say, you know what? I was wrong. I got it wrong. For whatever reason, I got it wrong. I tell you this, if a voter came out and said, you know what, I didn't vote for him, but again, you can vote for three. You vote for three guys out of the five or whatever. He wasn't one of the three because my mind normally goes to players first, and that's why I don't typically go to coaches first. But now that I read it all, I hear about it all, it's caused me to rethink it. It's caused me to think further about it, to think more deeply. And if I had it to do over again, and now maybe I do, I would vote for him. I would respect that way more than a guy that hides from it or boldly sticks his chest out and says I wasn't wrong. I would respect a guy in whatever walk of life comes out and says, you know what? I got it wrong. And I hope we get to that. We'll see if we do. We'll take a break. After this, we have headlines. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
The votes are in for the Folio Weekly Best of Jax Awards. The award for Best Sports Radio Show goes to
Helmets and Heels.
The winner for Best Radio Sports Anchor is
Dan Hicken.
Hear them every day on 1010XL.
Folks, this month marks a big milestone for Nimnicht. 85 years of serving Jacksonville. Since 1941, Nimnicht has been more than a dealership. It's been part of this community. 4 generations of families, thousands of vehicles sold, and a reputation built on doing things the right way. So when you hear nobody but Nimnicht, that's 85 years of trust behind it. If you bought a car from Nimnicht, serviced one, or participated in one of the causes, you are part of that legacy. So stop by and celebrate 85 years with the Nimnicht family, because this milestone belongs to Jacksonville too. There's 2 great locations. There's Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett and Park, and there's Nimnicht Buick GMC located on Phillips Highway. They're proud of 85 years, and they should be. Nobody does it better than Nimnicht. So head to Nimnicht today, and if you want a great deal, the best deal, who gives it to you? Nobody but Nimnicht.
One of the best live bands in the world, Tedeschi Trucks Band. Live in concert in St. Augustine. The Future Soul 2026 Tour. Performing at the St. Augustine Amphitheater, Friday, October 9th and Saturday, October 10th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at AXS.com. The new album Future Soul is available everywhere March 20th. For more, visit TedeschiTrucksBand.com. He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJax.com. That's COILE Jax.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Some auto shops call it an inspection and flag any little thing. That's called a wallet flush. At AA Automotive, they don't play that game. They fix only what needs fixing. AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
Hey, poker players and sports fans. It's cold outside, but the action is hot inside. Turn game day into payday at Aces Sports Bar inside Best Bet St. Augustine. Catch all the playoff football and college basketball on our big screens and play your hand at the tables. Plus, score $100 for touchdowns during selected pro football games and $500 every 30 minutes at the table games. Get all the exciting details at bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Attention, please. Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. They will take great care of you. Let's start with the Jaguars. CBS Sports has a very interesting feature up on their site. NFL free agency predictions. We're still, about 5 weeks away from the start of the new league year, but I thought this was really interesting. So the free agent predictions for CBS Sports: Devin Lloyd stays with the Jaguars, Travis Etienne signs with Seattle, and the Jaguars sign one player in the top 50, but he's pretty high up there. The Jaguars signed defensive lineman John Franklin Myers. The 29-year-old has 34 career sacks, played for Denver this past season.
All right, let me stop you. Kenneth Walker and Charbonneau are already there.
Charbonnet tore his knee.
Yeah.
Walker is a free agent.
He is a free agent. Okay, so that would be okay because that's healthy. Charbonneau and Walker healthy. That's pretty good. I mean that's a pretty good combo. But I'm all. Devin Lloyd stays in the premier pass rusher. Put me down. Where do I sign? Do I sign somewhere? Can I docu-sign? Remember everyone docu-signs now. Can I do a docu-sign? I'm in.
Yeah,
I love the idea.
I agree. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. So we'll see, obviously, a ways to go before we get to the start of the new league year. Let's keep it around the NFL. The Browns are hiring Todd Monken as head coach. So the Cardinals and Raiders, the final two openings.
Yeah, I said this at the top of the program. I'm biased because Todd and I are friends. He was my neighbor when he coached here. But I have this hunch he might be pretty good. I have the hunch he might be pretty good. I think he's a good mix of he thinks analytically and he's a little bit ahead, a very forward thinker, Hayes, offensively, like these young guns are. You made a great point about the difference he made in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. Yet he's a little bit of a grizzled, ornery older guy. He's a good mix. I wouldn't be. He's not the typical young gun that's going to get everybody excited. I wouldn't be surprised if he does pretty well there.
Yeah, interesting. The Titans' new coach, Robert Saleh, has made a good hire for his offensive coordinator, landing Brian Daboll, the former Giants coach and former Bills offensive coordinator. That's a little unnerving, I think. I obviously they have a lot of work to do, but
I agree with you.
I think that's a good hire for Saleh.
And I think Saleh was a good hire. I think it's a good staff. I agree with you. I say a good staff. I don't know if they're the coaches, but I think that if I was a Tennessee Titans fan and I found out that I woke up from a coma or a cave and I found out that we had hired Robert Saleh, who certainly got his feet wet with a bad organization with the Jets, but learned how to do it, and is one of the really highly regarded defensive minds. And he brought in Brian Daboll, who learned how to do it with the Giants. I would probably like that pairing, to your point.
Unfortunately, from waking up out of that coma, you also see Mike Vrabel in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's right. Hopefully you went into the cave. I'd rather say cave than coma. After that. So that part wouldn't surprise you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it to the NFL draft. Florida State defensive tackle Darrell Jackson was added to the Senior Bowl after impressing at the Shrine Game. So Florida State's Senior Bowl streak of having at least one player since 1972 lives on.
It really was an odd, when you read it yesterday in news or in headlines, Hayes, it really was an odd stat. Goodness gracious that it's been that long since the FSU had. I'm not surprised that it's been that long since they haven't had one. I'm surprised they didn't have one. Darrell Jackson, pretty good player. He'll always be remembered, God bless his soul, by Gator fans as a guy that DJ Lagway shook off and completed the pass to Chimere Dike. But Darrell Jackson, pretty good player. He was a pretty good player at Miami. He's a pretty good player at FSU.
And that was the last good play DJ Lagway had for the Gators. So there we go.
Might have been.
Be easy to remember.
I teed you up. You're welcome.
Let's get it to college football. Let's stay with Florida State. Have you had a chance to look at Florida State's schedule? Because it's out, and boy, another losing season might be the expectation. They host SMU. They go to Bama. They go to Louisville on a Friday night. They go to Miami. They host Clemson. They go to Pitt on a Friday night in November. They host Florida. They also have home games against Virginia, who's better than people thought they'd be this year, and NC State, who's been a consistent thorn for them. And then they also have a road game in November at Boston College, who was no good this year, but it's a road trip to Boston College in November. Boy, it looks like, 5-7.
And who knows what the record will be by that game.
Right.
Like Norvell could be out. The players have quit by then. It could be really ugly.
Let me tell you how far Florida State has dropped. And this isn't trolling. FSU fans will agree with us on this. But let me tell you what you just did, okay? There was never a time in their entire tenure in the Atlantic Coast Conference that started in 1992 when you would have thought it was problematic to play SMU, Louisville, Pitt, Virginia, NC State, BC. Those would have been chuckles. The same programs, you would have chuckled at playing those 6 teams, because we did chuckle through the 90s and parts of the 2000s when they played those teams, because you knew they were going to beat them. I'm not saying those aren't good teams. They may all beat them. Now, Clemson, Miami, Alabama is different. But the 6 you read off, SMU, Louisville, Pitt, and I don't disagree with you, by the way, Virginia, NC State, BC, all of a sudden, those look challenging for the Florida State Seminoles, which was never the case. That to me is the thesis statement of what you just said.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's get it to college basketball. The Gators are at South Carolina tonight at 9. Florida, a 13.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I think Florida will win. They're better than South Carolina. Auburn had me nervous. I'm not nervous about this one. But the interesting storyline is, the question everybody's asking is, did Auburn provide the blueprint to beat Florida? Pack everything around those really good big guys and let those not-so-good shooters let it fly. Now, again, you have to be big enough to do that, and Auburn's got a very big basketball team. I don't know that South Carolina has the athletes to do that, but you got to believe that's what you're going to see tonight. The other side of that is Todd Golden is a really good coach. Well, he knows that's what he's going to see tonight. So it makes for a really good storyline when Florida plays South Carolina.
Absolutely. Lots of great hoops action last night. Number 3, Michigan hands 5th-ranked Nebraska its first loss of the season, 75-72.
Yeah, Michigan, by the way, is a really good program under Dusty May, the former Florida assistant, former FAU head coach. How about Nebraska starting 18-0 or whatever?
It was 20-0. It's like the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
How about Nebraska?
It's unbelievable.
Nebraska, who, by the way,
honestly, the worst college basketball program, just like Indiana football.
Yeah.
Did you know? Well,
you know this. They've never won a tournament game.
Yeah.
Did you know that, JJ?
No,
Nebraska has never won a tournament game.
Not
one
round of 64.
Never.
Game.
They've never won a tournament game, and they started 20-0.
It's amazing. And they played well. They were down, to Nebraska's credit, it was a 3-point loss in Ann Arbor, and they were down their best player and one of their key reserves. So the Cornhuskers certainly might be for real, despite taking on their first loss of the season last night. So interesting to monitor that.
It makes sense because I can't think of one player from Nebraska.
I can't tell you a single guy that they've ever produced of consequence in basketball. Let's get it to the SEC. Vandy whips Kentucky 80-55 in Nashville. Both teams now 5-3 in SEC play.
Yeah, and laid it to them. Again, the SEC has got. Here's what the SEC has. They've got really good parity, in large part because they're not as good as they were. That league was ridiculous last year. And you had a pretty good hunch that if you got through that league, you might win the whole damn thing. Florida did, and they did. It's a pretty even league this year, but it's not a dominant league. So I'll say it this way: last year they were so good anybody could beat anybody. This year they're so not quite as good, but even anybody could lose to anybody, and that's what the league is.
Absolutely. Let's get into golf. Brooks Koepka makes his PGA Tour return this week at the Farmers Insurance Open.
I'm glad he's back. I think I wish Bryson DeChambeau was back. I know he's not going to be for contractual reasons with LIV, but the tour is better with guys that are clearly recognizable. Both are charismatic players. Both are, at times, they're very skilled players. I'm glad Koepka. I hope DeChambeau's back at some point, but I'm glad Koepka. Are you glad Koepka's back?
Absolutely.
I'm glad Koepka's back.
I hope he plays well enough to qualify for the players.
Yeah. Me too. I do.
Patrick Reed is leaving LIV, so another player following Koepka. Now, Reed will not be eligible for PGA Tour reinstatement until August, so you're not going to see Patrick Reed for a while on the PGA Tour. but an interesting decision that he has gone ahead and announced that he will be leaving LIV to return to the PGA Tour when he can.
Yeah, and he's, by the way, a Southern guy from Augusta, from that area. He belongs on the tour. Ornery guy, not the most well-liked guy on tour. Probably one of the.
But the tour needs guys to hate.
Correct. And he was one of the most least liked guys on tour. And you need the heels too. You're exactly right.
Let's get to tennis. Ben Shelton falls in straight sets to Yannick Sinner, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4 in the quarters of the Aussie Open.
Did you stay up much?
I did not. But I thought, maybe it starts at 3 a.m. and sometimes those men's matches can go for like
when you
4 or
wake
5
up.
hours. So I was thinking, maybe people as they get up for work, maybe, if it was a good match, it didn't end up being a good match. But Ben Shelton, Gator, and really, I mean, it doesn't seem like American men's tennis. It seems like he's now we always have that one guy that is sort of relevant, where it was Roddick, Eisner, and now Shelton. But anyway, didn't get it done. But a good run to the quarters.
I don't follow tennis very closely, so probably everything I say about it probably would be inaccurate. But you do get the sense that it's where it's been for the last years. It's Sinner and Alcaraz and a handful of guys. It's hard to be just the same way it was with Federer.
Very top-heavy sport.
Very
like
top.
the most top-heavy sport.
Right. And top
like that forever.
And a very small top. Yeah. So it really feels like if you're one of the 2 or 3 great players, it's hard to knock them off.
That's right. We will get you out with today's musical nugget. We are going to go back to our childhoods. The Dukes of Hazzard debuted this week back in 1979. 7 seasons, 147 episodes. Daisy Duke. This is the legendary theme, Good Old Boys by Waylon Jennings, who was credited as the balladeer and narrated the show. The song reached number 1 on the country charts and peaked at 21 on the Billboard chart.
I've told you many times that the great star of the 70s was Valerie Bertinelli, and I'll take no debate on that. But Catherine Bach?
Yeah.
She made the Final Four, I'll tell you that, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see how...
That was the 1 seed.
We'll see how she does on Saturday night, but she made the Final Four. Hour 2 is next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Of all the places in the world, this is our favorite. This is home. 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today, or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Gated Communities, Homeowners Association, Secure Corporate Centers. When you need a full-line fence company capable of any size job, you need to think about Duval Fence. They've got the latest and greatest in gate operators and access control systems. Security is huge these days, and you want a gate that operates smoothly, around the clock, every time you hit the button. Count on a company that's been serving Duval and the First Coast for decades. That's Duval Fence. For the latest in gate operators, commercial or residential, check out Duval Fence.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296. Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429. Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. People ask, are your solutions for thinning hair permanent? Yes, our solutions have permanent natural results and are guaranteed to work. Put our 35 years of experience helping 10,000 plus men and women to work for your thinning hair. Our trademark hair transplant procedures will give you 3 times more hair in one procedure. PRP and laser treatments are fast, easy, and effective, and only take 30 minutes. Most of our staff have experienced hair loss ourselves. Our caring and confidential team can help you look better and feel better about yourself and restoring your hair again.
For your confidential consultation, call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com. That's hairforme.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Jags will be retaining both of their coordinators for the 2026 season following the Buffalo Bills hiring Joe Brady as head coach. Grant Udinsky will return as offensive coordinator, while defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile has withdrawn his name from the head coaching pool to run it back in Duval. It's 55 degrees at 5 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. 10-10-10.
Take.
The 1010 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. Tonight's Gator basketball game is a critical game to not lose. I said that earlier in the program. It's been an interesting journey for the Gator basketball team ever since they cut down the nets in San Antonio last year. One of the most glorious wins in the history of Florida athletics, as we all know. One of the most fun follows I ever had, and I got to go to San Antonio to the Final Four and had a blast doing it. Coming down the river, one of the most storybook seasons of all time. And then we're well positioned because of all the front court guys coming back. You know the story by now. They're all coming back. They got the 2 transfer guards in Lee and Boogie Flan, had high expectations, top 2 or 3 everywhere, played the brutal non-conference schedule, Arizona, Duke, UConn, lost all those games, also lost to TCU, lost the conference opener to Missouri. The guards weren't playing well, so people doubted them. So that's how it started. We all know that. Then all of a sudden they got hot for a while, and it looked like they had turned the corner and they were the best team in the SEC. And I'm still not sure. I don't think they are. But isn't it funny how narratives change? They lose one game to Auburn, and the guards are not good again, and all of a sudden people are not quite sure they're very good. And the narrative of this Florida basketball team has changed so dramatically. Quite frankly, before Todd Golden's team won last year, the narratives didn't change very much because nobody paid enough attention, right? But now once you win a championship, everyone's paying attention. So everyone's got more people have an opinion about you. And that opinion, boy, it's gone up and down. It's gone up and down. Well, now all of a sudden they got off to this great 5-1 start in the league. They had found themselves. They were being talked about as a tough out in the tournament. They were going to Tampa for the regional. They were good. They were going to win 15, 16 games in the conference, lose one home game, and the narrative has flipped, which is pretty amazing. So for that reason, you better win tonight because, yes, it's a night game, and it's the game coaches hate. Coaches hate late night games because you've been sitting around the hotel all day long because you fly in the day before. But you better win this one. You also have Alabama, who's pretty good, coming in on Sunday, and the schedule's about to get tougher. You go to Georgia, you go to A&M. All of the reasons why this is not a great opponent, but it's a game you better find a way not to lose. Critical game for Florida tonight, and that's the 10-10 take.
Yeah, if this is one where I think you're right about the Florida fan base has been very up and down with this team. I think nationally, it like from the Auburn loss, like they really didn't get penalized for that. Like Lenardi didn't even drop him; he kept him on the 4-seed line, and so you didn't really see, I think, around the nation people panic over it. But certainly in the fan base, I think there was that, and like I said, I was livid when they lost the game on Saturday. And then, I remembered that I went back and looked, and last year's team that won the national title was 5-3 in the SEC through their first 8. This team, if they win tonight, and I think they will, is going to be 6-2 in their first 8. And the defending champion 04s lost 3 or 4 games from February 17th to February 27th, the year they repeated. So there's a lot of growing that basketball teams can still do between now and March, and you hope Saturday was a teachable moment for this squad, that they will be better for having gone through it. But if you lose tonight, I'm sorry, it does change how I think they should be viewed. I mean, you can't lose to South Carolina. I don't care if the game is in Columbia. I don't care if they play it at 4 a.m. South Carolina is 1-6 this season against Quad 1 opponents. They are 90th in the net. They are the second to last team in the SEC in the net. Mississippi State bringing up the cellar there. So this is one of the worst teams in this league. If you can't go and beat them, and a lot of guys on this team should remember their last trip to Columbia, which required Will Richard hitting a floater with 4 seconds left to win the game. A game South Carolina outplayed them the entire game that Florida stole at the end. If South Carolina, Richard hits the floater, they go up. South Carolina comes down, throws up a 3 at the buzzer. It clings off the back iron. Florida escapes, and their bench went wild because they knew they had no business winning that game. So you hope that memory is still fresh for guys like Houck and Condon and Chinlilu that went through it last year. But they've got to win tonight. I mean, this is a game that if you don't win this game, you can't be looked at as a Final Four contender. You can't be looked at as a contender to win this league title. This is one you've got to get. You are playing one of the worst teams in the SEC tonight.
And you should be kind of pissy.
Right.
On top of all that, you weren't very good Saturday, and it was a valiant effort to get back in it, but one of the few times, I'll certainly say one of the few times of late, meaning last year or this year, and probably in the golden era, that the other team had visibly more energy. Yeah, look, everybody plays hard, so there might be some teams sometimes you get outfought by a little bit, but there aren't many times Florida's team under Golden, it was clear the other guy was getting every loose ball. It was clear the other guy was getting to the spot faster. It was clear the other guy was better on runouts. That hasn't happened much with, and he said that after the game. He said, "Listen, they took the fight to us, and that hasn't happened with us very much. But they were the aggressor. They took the fight to." I thought, and before his presser, didn't you think? I thought the same thing. So he said, "Well, I
was disgusted with how they played in the first half. It's one thing to get beat. It's another thing to not show up.
Yeah.
You've got this,
and to get outfought. Hayes, they got outfought.
You've got a arena packed with fans." And that's the effort that you put on display. It was unacceptable.
And hopefully, hopefully they're college kids. Sometimes you do read your press clippings. I think part of some of that was in play.
I think that's been a big problem for this team.
I do too.
Big problem.
And hopefully I do too. And hopefully that now. Hopefully they needed to lose the game because of that. Don't be surprised if they go on some sort of a run that they don't look back at that as a moment. It's a moment that turned the corner. So we'll see whether or not it did or not. All right, Gators in South Carolina tonight. You'll hear it on our AM radio station, as you always do when the Gators play. We'll take a break. I want to get into broadcast teams when we come back. Who's the best? Who's the best football broadcast team? Pro, college, all of it. That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You know Dan Hicken.
It's good to be the king.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
It's about gaining control of your life and letting go at the same time.
Mornings on the Drill.
You sure you're not making this up as you go along?
On 1010XL.
Unlike those big corporate-owned stores, Beard's Diamonds doesn't rely on AI to help you find the right diamond. Beard's Diamonds specializes in DI, Diamond Intelligence. As Town Center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections, Beard's Diamonds is the smart choice for choosing the right jewelry for any occasion. Our Diamond Intelligence comes from years of helping your Jacksonville neighbors and connecting them to beautiful, dazzling diamonds from top designers like Tacori and Verragio. Diamond Intelligence is about finding the diamond that expresses what words can't and leaves her speechless. And Diamond Intelligence is tapping into partners from around the globe to find your true treasure without the middleman markups and bottom-line algorithms. Come experience the local, loyal, and helpful difference of Beard's Diamonds in Town Center, home of Diamond Intelligence. There's nothing artificial about it. Beard's Diamonds, proud to be Jacksonville's jeweler at the St. John's Town Center.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Learn everything you need to know about the Jaguars on Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Join me each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 9:04. You can find Duval Rundown on all the social channels of 1010XL.
Driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. It's Thursday. New Hard Rock Bet rewards are dropping.
Nice. You in, Jeremy Shockey?
I don't do drops. Jeremy, we're talking bonus bets, deposit matches, and parlay insurance.
Got it. I do those drops.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us.
New customers, double your winnings on your first 10 bets. Max bet of $50 per bet. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass. Still family owned and in business for 100 years. When they say you're going to see a big difference, that's for everything. Custom showers and spas, tabletops, mirrors, even replacing foggy windows, all at a more affordable price. And with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed, Lee and Kate's Glass is your best choice. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hacker here. Are you down 35 pounds yet this year? We're 4 weeks into the new year, and I was down 35 pounds in 4 weeks with Awaken 180. Real weight, real fast, and as you know, the results last. Get started today. Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Back to a Coyle and Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
You know, fencing is important for your yard. When the dog's out there, whatever reason, and there's a lot of fence companies. There really are, and I've got a lot of respect for all of them. But boy, the Coyle and Sons folks are really good at it. They've been doing it for a long, long time. I trust them. That's why they do so much work at the Bregan Baseball Complex, including building us a batter's eye. We had no idea how to do it. They've worked at the JU baseball operation, or their brand new fence that Chris Hayes and those folks have out there. They do such a good job. People in town trust them. If you want fencing, it's my friends from Coyle and Sons. I want you to go on the website. It's Coyle Jacks, that's COYLE, JAX.com, or call them at 904-356-4821. That is the number for my friends at Coyle and Sons. Who's your favorite football broadcast team? Do you have one? Do you care? I mean, you're not a big broadcast guy.
I'm not a big one. But I guess if I had to pick, I will say this. I've given Aikman grief in the past. I think the last couple years, Troy Aikman has been awesome. I don't know what happened, but I think I'll say this. For this season, I thought Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were the best team.
They're the gold standard now. They're widely considered the gold standard. So yeah, I think from an NFL standpoint, I think they're the best. JJ, who's your favorite, college or NFL? You have a favorite?
It's really difficult since like Vern doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because that was always my favorite.
Yep.
I'll tell you one that I don't think he's the best play-by-play guy, but he's my favorite. It's really going to piss off Rick Ballou that I'm going to say this. But I like Joe Tess. I feel like he always gets like insane like back and forth games. Like, he's only like the third or fourth team from ESPN. So no one would ever say he's the best play-by-play guy, but I think that him and Jesse Palmer do a really great job on Saturdays.
Joe Tess.
He always makes it seem like a big game.
Yeah,
which
he
I
does.
like.
Joe Tess is a little over the top.
Yes, sometimes.
He's probably not my favorite, but it doesn't drive me as crazy as it does a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So I am.
And I like his anti-FSU outlook on things.
And by the way, and Jesse Palmer is very good.
He is better than Joe Tess.
He's
like
really
what
good.
he does.
Jesse
Absolutely.
Palmer has gotten very good. I think Buck and Aikman are the best NFL going, and they're really good. I mean, they are really, really, to your point, Hayes, yes, this year, and they're into a rhythm now, and they've been together so long. I mean that's Summerall Madden stuff, man. I think they're really good.
Do you think there's a play-by-play guy specific? Like, I think Tirico's better than
Buck. Yeah.
But I like Buck and Aikman better than Collinsworth.
I think Buck's the best play-by-play guy, and I like that.
Sean McDonough, I think, is the best play-by-play guy.
He's my favorite
and he
college
does
guy.
So many sports.
Yeah, my favorite college guy is Sean McDonough. He is really good, and Greg McElroy's gotten good. That's a good team.
Yes.
That is a really good team, man. So my list, rather than going in order because they're all lumped in there together, I still love Hal Fowler and Herb Street. To me, that's still the voice of college football. That hasn't worn off on me. I know people don't like Herb Street because he's everywhere. Kirk Herbstreit, I think, is really good. Like many, I still see him more as a college guy. He's still a little bit of an awkward fit for me as an NFL guy.
He's terrible on the NFL.
How so?
Because he doesn't know it, and and everything goes back to and even it's gotten so bad now that Al tees him up on it because Al knows it's coming. Yeah. So Al will be like, "Tell us about when he was in Alabama, Kirk." And I mean, it's just I think he tries. I just think he's too spread thin. And initially I was annoyed by it because it was just overexposure.
Yeah.
But he just truly doesn't get it. Doesn't get the NFL like a color analyst in that role should get the NFL.
See, to me as a listener, if I didn't know that he was a college guy and didn't know that he didn't play in the NFL and hadn't broadcast the NFL, I wouldn't pick up on that. I've tried to really.
And I don't care they didn't play in the NFL.
No, but I'm just telling you, for me, if I didn't have the inherent knowledge that he's a college guy, I would. And if I heard he and Al do a game, I wouldn't say, "Wow, that guy doesn't know." Just for me, that guy doesn't know.
I agree with you. What bothers me about him is the. I just see him
the dog
in every
you
interview.
Hate the dog?
I hate Pete or whatever his name is. Like I didn't, but now that I see him
the dog's
everywhere on social media, he does a lot of interviews. So maybe it's oversaturation.
Well, he's everywhere, but if I didn't inherently know in my heart that he's a college guy, I wouldn't hear him as the NFL guy and think, wow, bad fit. But because I do know that, it affects me.
I literally do not listen to the Amazon broadcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I will listen to music while I watch the game.
I've Rick says that about some, and you said that too. That I've never been that guy. But anyway, so for me, Herb Street, Fowler and Herb Street calling a college game, that still tells me it's the game. It's all. I'm not saying Chris Fowler's Keith Jackson. He's not. But the beauty of Keith Jackson is when you heard his voice,
you knew it was a big game.
It was the game.
Oh, man.
It was the game. And so Fowler is that for me. I think Buck and Aikman are the best. I like Tirico. I think he's really good.
I think he had a great year.
He did, and he's really good. He doesn't resonate, and he's a wonderful guy. I've met him a few times. He doesn't resonate quite as much with me as Buck does, as Fowler and Herb Street. Fowler and McDonough rather. But here's the thing. I don't hear, and maybe this is a testament to the industry. Well, I wrote down Buck Aikman, Nance Romo, Tirico, Collinsworth, Burkhart, Brady, obviously for the four big ones in the NFL. I wrote down Fowler, Herbstreit, McDonough, McElroy, Joe Test, Palmer, Bob Wischusen, and Lewis Riddick, the probably the four big ones in college. I can't find one grouping that I don't like. You see, you don't like the Thursday night. I get it. Al, and
I love Al Michaels.
It's
just
you don't like Herb.
He's in his 80s.
But I can't. But I can't find a grouping now. I think Kevin Harlan and Ian Eagle are both fantastic.
Dude.
But I don't keep up with who. I don't even know. I don't know who Harlan's with.
Harlan's with Olsen, right?
Is Harlan? No, because is he? No, Harlan's a CBS guy. Olsen's a Fox guy. So
Burkhart's with
Joe Block is with Olsen. Burkhart's with Brady.
Oh yeah, they switched with Brady. I guess.
So
I thought Olsen was spectacular.
Yeah, he was very good. Ian Eagle, I think, is fantastic at everything he does. But I haven't gotten to Nance Romo yet. Do you think Nance Romo is the group? Because not only does Marshawn rip Romo, but he's pretty much implied that Nance has lost his fastball too.
Well, and that they hate each other.
Yeah. So
like that Nance and Romo hate each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hate how they like. I don't think as people.
Yeah.
But like, I think they feel like it's.
How do you feel when you hear them? What do you think?
I think they've probably regressed from when Romo debuted and took everybody by storm. I think there's been some regression, but I mean, I still think they're a good group. I don't have and if Nance and Romo are calling the game, that doesn't, I'm not going to mute the TV and listen to music or something like that. So I still like them. I don't think they're maybe as strong as they have been, but I still think it's a good team.
I think Nance is still really good.
Hell yeah.
I think Romo, it almost seems sometimes I don't hate him. But I almost sense that maybe things you think about Herb Street. I feel like he's guessing a little. He made all the predictions when he came out. He
stopped doing that completely.
He did, and it now seems like he captures some obvious for me a little bit.
I think he seems uninterested at times.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's something like that.
And it's like, are you overdoing that?
Yeah.
Like, are you not interested in this job anymore? They just pay you so much. But like Hayes said, I've never been like that guy that, oh my gosh, I can't listen to these dudes. They're still, to me, one of the elite teams.
Yeah, I've never been that guy. Which gets us to Burkhart and Brady. I never thought Brady was as bad as people said last year. I never bought that. To their point, JJ, he probably wasn't as good as Greg Olsen last year, so that's why all the to-do was made, because Greg Olsen, who's really good, got demoted to the number 2
team. But you're not
going
to pay a guy that much money and not have him on the A team.
Yeah,
so Olsen had to go.
Yeah, so but Olsen's supposed to be better because he had done it more. Okay, and he had done it more. So, but for me, I never thought Brady was terrible at it. I listened as closely as I've ever listened on Sunday. I think Brady's pretty good. I think he's got, and it's not because Andrew Marchand said it. He's got good enthusiasm, and he I think he tells the story. And I will tell you this. There is something to the fact that you're listening to Tom Brady.
The greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, that matters to me. He's one guy. There's not many of these guys that I think about how great they were as players or how good they were as players. I mean, all the guys, Aikman's a Hall of Famer. I mean, Aikman was a really good player, but it's still, for me, that's goddamn Tom Brady. I still feel that way when I listen to him.
Yeah, I think Brady did improve. I wasn't bothered with him his debut year. What bothered me, and I think they've done a better job of this, is they were like putting him on this pedestal during the broadcast that I thought really just reflected poorly and backfired on him. Like they'd have Aaron Andrews being like, well, that's amazing. I just talked to Mike McCarthy and boy, he agrees with you, Tom. And then they go to Tom Rinaldi and Rinaldi would be like, well, Tom Brady must have been in the halftime locker room because that's exactly what Mike Tomlin said. And it was like, you guys don't have to do this.
We know Tom Brady knows ball.
Right. And so I think they got better at that. They didn't force it.
Dude, they were showing commercials during the games that were like Tom Brady's coming up next.
Right. And so I think
what the hell's going on?
I think that really helped that it was more natural, organic this year in their broadcast, and I think that paid. But I do think Brady improved, and I still like Collinsworth. There are times where what I like about Collinsworth is there are times where it feels like he's almost teaching a class about NFL football. Like it's almost like from a professor standpoint. And I kind of like that in certain aspects of it. And he's really the only one that I feel like does that, like goes into that sort of depth of how the sport is played and what you're seeing. So I still like Collinsworth.
I do. And by the way, that's the PFF influence because he owns PFF or started PFF. I like him too. I think Chris Collinsworth is lovably corny, and I think that's what turns people off. I think, you know what I mean, JJ?
The only thing that I really don't like about, because I think he's spectacular, but he goes like way above and beyond loving on all the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's like too much.
Yeah,
and this guy.
Here's the guy.
Yeah,
here's the guy. But
they all can't be that.
Yeah,
you can't say that about C.J. Stroud the same way you talk about prime Rodgers.
But I can't find any of these guys of the key guys. Again, Joe Tess is the one that gets a lot of criticism because he's different. He's over the top.
He's like the Gus Johnson.
Yeah, correct. He's over the top. He's
not everything's the Super Bowl. It's not always tied in the fourth quarter, you know.
Yeah, and I think Romo, whether it's disinterested or lazy or there's something.
I will say this. I was stunned when he was here with Nance. I can't remember what the game. Well, it was the Bills game.
The Bills, yeah.
And he like, we're like talking like what we talk in the press box. Like, I mean, this is the inactives have already come out. Like, we're fairly close, maybe 40 minutes to kick.
Right.
He walks right in front of us, and he's like not dressed.
Yeah.
Like, and he has no idea where he's going. Like, which that I get because how often has he done Jaguar games?
True.
But you never see like that a person of that stature. Just sort of like
not locked in.
Well,
walking
that
through.
is the rumor that they say online, which I don't. I mean, how do I know? But they always say like, "Oh, Romo's been kind of phoning it in lately. Like he's not doing the work that he used to do in the week leading up to the game." It's like, how would you know that? But that goes to what you're saying.
I could maybe buy that,
and it does
because it was very rare to see the national TV color analyst
in shorts with no
like
shirt
basically walking through at that time. I almost never see him anyway.
Yeah, right.
But
they
certainly
say they're at the end.
Yeah,
they're at the other end than where you guys are. They're past us. And but yeah, he's a little casual for me. I still think Nance. So final thing, if I had to rate play-by-play guys only and lump college and pro together, okay, if I had to go. This is just football only. This is play-by-play only. This is just for my enjoyment, okay? If I had to go my enjoyment of play-by-play guys in what order it would be, for me, it would be Buck, Nance, Fowler, McDonough, and probably Kevin Harlan. If I was going to do my order of forget the color guy, as far as my enjoyment of it, That would be my list. Forget the color guys. Would you? I sprung this on you, but give me something close to your
I'll
list.
go Sean McDonough, Joe Buck, Jim Nance, Mike Tirico,
Okay.
Burkhart.
All right. Similar list. You have Burkhardt in your top 5. I would have had.
I'm not a huge Fowler guy.
Yeah, you don't love Fowler.
I agree with that.
You
I thought you got Fowler too high for me. I
Really?
just think he doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I don't think he's bad.
Yeah, I get it.
But I don't know. Maybe because he didn't start out doing that.
Correct.
And like later on, I was always just like, why did they just shoehorn him in there? He's not a play-by-play guy, but he's gotten a lot better.
Well, your point, by the way, I will tell you this. If you're not accustomed to somebody being a play-by-play guy,
and then all of a sudden he's on the big game.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's a play-by-play guy, it does take some getting used to. I can tell you that if you're not accustomed to the cadence, then all of a sudden, so I get that.
But it's been a while now.
Yeah,
he's been doing it for a while.
But to me, he's certainly not a traditional play-by-play guy. Just like Joe Tess said, he's certainly not a traditional guy. Doesn't have the traditional pipes. Doesn't. But to me, I love college football so much that I know when he and Herbstreit show up, it's big.
Oh, yeah.
More than anything else. In fact, see, NFL doesn't have that because
it's spread out.
Well, every network's got that. Every network. I mean, they're in terms of.
I feel like that though when I hear a Sunday night broadcast. Because like when I hear Collinsworth, I know it's a huge game.
Tirico and Collinsworth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Monday night, which is unfortunate because they're the best team. And
Yeah.
They get stuck with some crap.
And Sunday night, because Sunday night's become the thing.
It's usually the best game of the weekend.
But even when it was Michaels and Collinsworth, and it was wasn't Madden with Michaels on that for a while. Yeah. So it was that for a while. Interesting stuff.
I would throw in real quick before we break. You said his name earlier, Ian Eagle.
He's so good.
He's definitely in my top 5. He's so good. His son is amazing.
Yeah. And I will tell you this about Ian Eagle. Of all all these guys, Ian Eagle, of all the guys we mentioned, is the guy that if he sees me, he will come up to me.
Really good guy.
He'll come up to me and somehow he heard the Devin Lloyd interception call, or he heard the Chargers, the Riley Patterson kick, and I'll go, how do you hear that? He goes, I hear stuff. I hear stuff. He's the nicest guy of all. And they're all, by the way, they're all good guys. The ones I've gotten them say hello to.
Yeah, I heard Nance is next level good guy. Too.
Really, really nice guy. Really nice. But Ian Eagle will come up and say, hey, heard that call. That was really good. I mean, so for a guy like me, a little local level guy, it's really awesome. Really a cool thing. We'll take a break. More in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Duval all day. Search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
This is the kind of sandwich you don't rush. French dip at Firehouse Subs. Premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning. Stacked on a toasted garlic bread roll with hot au jus for dipping. For a limited time at Firehouse Subs.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Topps Chrome just last week came out with boxes for U.S. Winter Olympics. With the games nearing, look for cards of medalists Chloe Kim, Lindsey Vonn, and Shaun White. Topps Chrome U.S. Winter Olympics boxes. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA, who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Feel the power of Van Halen. Live, Jump, America's Van Halen experience. Iconic riffs and David Lee Roth era energy. Sunday, February 1st at Thrasher Horn Center. Get tickets now at thcenter.org.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Game days aren't the only win happening in the 904. Best of Fold City named 904 Gutters with a Z the #1 seamless gutter company in Duval. Like the team's O-line protects their QB. Call the winning team at 904 Gutters with a Z to protect your home from the rain.
Hey, Hickett here. The big game is almost here. There's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code 1010XL. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Fun moments in the show today, talking about broadcasters and hoops and all, but our golden moment was our guest. Brett Hastings came by, really cleared up an awful lot of that, the injunction that's allowing Charles Bediako to play for Alabama and a whole lot more. Sports and Courts, a terrific golden moment today. I want to eat something good. I want to go to the farm. Let's go to the farm. You want to go right now?
I wish we could go.
I mean, just get in the car. Just get in the car and go to Folks.
Be there in an hour.
It's an hour.
Yeah, hour away. Yeah, well, we can't go today.
Who can?
But I can tell you Saturday night, the farm is doing another wonderful giveaway. So be caller 2 right now at 641-1010. And if you are free Saturday night, you are going to have an incredible meal, an incredible experience. Again, our friends at the farm at Okefenokee do such an incredible job. You can go to their site, okefarm.com. But again, so big dinner Saturday night. Don't worry about the cold. They're going to have a roaring fire in the clubhouse, so you will be well taken care of, and you will really get to enjoy an incredible dinner with you and your loved ones. So hopefully you win. And we certainly appreciate our friends at the farm at Okefenokee. But make sure you can go Saturday.
Yeah.
If it doesn't move. So if you can go Saturday, great. If you can't go Saturday, we'll do this again down the road. So maybe you win next time.
Yeah. So we certainly hope you will. But it's a great time, and the phones light up again. Hayes made a good point. Don't win it if you can't go.
Right.
If you win it if you go, and you'll be awfully glad you did. So you are headed to the farm at Okefenokee. We were talking about the Heidi game. That's why they won't cut off games. You made that point?
Yeah.
I was watching the Heidi game. I mean, I didn't know. There was Jets Raiders. I was 10 years old. I remember watching the Heidi game, and I remember how people lost their mind.
Because they thought it was over, right?
Yeah.
And then there was an incredible comeback.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you've got a movie about, a 8-year-old girl?
My dad.
I don't even know what Heidi was.
I can still, when I was growing up, my dad, when anything would go wrong, he'd call my mom. Rose, they took the game off. Like, I don't know what my mom was supposed to do about the fact that NBC took the game off. Rose, they took the game off. I remember, Rose. So that was so.
That's hilarious.
My mom's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was my dad. Rose, they took the game. They took the game off. So, oh my goodness, the Heidi game, that's why they don't. But we were talking about the Gator game. That's why we were talking about it. Tennessee, Georgia plays.
Yeah, because it's not going to start. The Gators game is supposed to start at 9.
Yeah,
but we know
they'll back it up a little.
It's not. You're right. At first, you get tip at 9:10.
Right, and then you get,
and it's actually going to start on a totally different network than the one it's going to ultimately end up.
You'll get the graphic that says ESPN News and available on the ESPN app. But one thing I've noticed, and it ticks me off, sometimes the app doesn't work right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't come on the app until it's on the TV. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Well, I got a problem
It's
with
a
that.
bad system.
Yeah.
And again, it's not exactly breaking news that a college basketball game is going to last longer than 2 hours. And Georgia, Tennessee, I mean, that's going to be a war tonight.
Yeah, it's good.
That is a huge – that might be the biggest game Mike White's had as Georgia's regular season game because he made the tournament last year. But, I mean, that's one where the winner of that game has a bunch of momentum. But the loser of that game, you're starting to teeter. I think the loser of that game, you're going to be about 500 in league play. So Tennessee not as strong as they've been. Georgia a little bit better maybe than what they have been. That game's going to be hard fought. There's going to be a ton of fouls. It's going to be physical, and it will get over at 9:23.
Right. And ESPN or whoever's got it will go to the Florida game with 9:28 left in the first.
That's right.
Just, it infuriates me.
It's brutal.
It absolutely does. So, JJ, you were talking during the break about how games used to be on tape delay. I told you the Miracle on Ice. I know I've told this story many times. I was
uncomprehendable to me.
It was the Miracle on Ice was on tape delay.
It's incredible.
And I was a junior at Florida. Okay, I was a junior at Florida, senior at Florida, but I mean I just finished. So I was finishing up my senior year, just become a senior, my last year at Florida, and there were 4 of us that lived in this apartment, and we had heard during the day that the U.S. might have won that game. But we weren't sure. There was no internet, so
you didn't just check your phone.
Did not check my phone.
You didn't ask Siri.
No, did not ask Siri. So let me just tell you. So it was on like 8:30 or 9 at night. We're watching it. Okay, it's on a Friday night. Okay, I'm a student at the University of Florida on a Friday night. Do the math. Okay. I was in a bit of
cups.
I was a bit of an altered state. Okay, just if you can do the math.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're watching it, and then all 4 of us and a couple of our friends are over watching it, and you couldn't believe. Remember, you had heard they might have won. You kind of heard, but you didn't believe it, right? Because
2 weeks prior or 3 weeks prior, the Russians had destroyed.
That's right. And so you're watching the game, and you're thinking, I think they did win. And I think they did win. And if in the event that you're in an altered state, okay, you don't know the Finland game's still got to be played. Okay. Well, you're screaming about how you've won the gold medal until you wake up the next day with the awful headache and realize there's one more game to be played. So, but but you're right, JJ, to your point. The thought that stuff like that was tape delayed.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the NBA Finals as well.
Yeah.
I've always heard that used
to
be delayed like in the 80s even.
Maybe the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, but certainly, yeah, for a while there, it certainly was. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Early Super Bowl line, the Seahawks a 4.5-point favorite over the New England Patriots. The game will take place February 8th at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The Seahawks with the #1 scoring defense in the NFL, giving up just over 17 points per game, but the Patriots offense averaging over 28 a contest. Seahawks at -230, New England +190, and the over-under 45.5. Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold, the betting favorite to win the MVP. He is at +110. New England quarterback Drake May, just his second year in the NFL, +230 to win the MVP honors. Seattle wide receiver Jackson Smith Enigma is +600. Seattle running back Kenneth Walker is at +850.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care, totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
I'm Holt Harrell. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were shocked that some lawyers get more from a case than their own client. After paying bills and costs, if we are supposed to get more than a client, we won't. That's the Harrell and Harrell promise. When we say that we treat our clients like family, we mean it. If you've been in an accident, call us today. 251-1111. Harrell and Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
The Florida Forum welcomes former Russian political prisoner and Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Vladimir Kara-Murza at the Center of Performing Arts. Hear his powerful story of courage, imprisonment, and freedom, February 3rd. All proceeds for the Florida Forum benefit the Women's Board of Wolfson Children's Hospital, supporting a new outdoor play area for behavioral health services. Still to come, Chef Jose Andres on March 31st. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
This is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Tired of your hair falling out? Our hair restoration solutions have helped over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air, a definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it, too.
We sure appreciate our friends from Coyle & Sons. 904-356-4821, CoyleJacks.com. Again, they do all my fencing. They do all our walk-off charities fencing, including the Bergen Baseball Complex, but so many other areas as well. Coyle & Sons, boy, they are good at it, and the best fencers in town, I can tell you that. See, by the way, where John Gruden was asked by Aaron Glenn to join the staff, and he said no. See the story?
Really?
Yeah, John
for the Jets.
Yeah,
huh?
Aaron Glenn. I don't know if it was coordinator or analyst, but I think it was to build their offense, and it was to build the offense.
Probably a smart move.
Yeah.
If you want to get back into coaching, you probably don't want to join a sinking ship immediately.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Doug,
the Jets are it's a good thing relegation doesn't exist in the NFL. Yeah. God only knows what level they'd be at by
Doug
now.
Peterson told me in the offseason that Aaron Glenn offered him a job to be sort of the consultant to the young coordinator, and he turned it down a year ago.
Wow.
Interesting stuff. So let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Rick, did you know Todd Monken was here?
Yeah.
You knew Todd. Yeah. Good dude. Good dude.
Very good dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he lived in our neighborhood.
Right.
And a regular guy. How do you think he'll do? Hard job.
You know,
Hard job.
It's right there to me with Detroit. And even though Detroit, really began to escalate a couple of years ago, they leveled off this past season. I just think Cleveland's one of those deals that there are teams, professionally speaking, that are never going to win. And I think Cleveland is one of those teams.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Sanders. He's got a chance to be a real good guy, but it appears that, the defensive coordinator is not going to stay. And he was real tight now with Myles Garrett, the best player, maybe the best player in the league, period. But good job for Todd Monken. Because it's his second time around, I don't think it would have been a good job for Grant Udinski.
Yeah. So, and Grant stays, and that's certainly good news for the Jags. Are you surprised, by the way? Not surprised, but what do you make of all the Belichick stuff? What do you make?
I love it. I mean, it's great because every Hall of Fame is so corrupt anyway, and the worst of it all is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That is completely abysmal to see what's happened there. But I'm really going to talk on this tonight, and I think there's responsibility for your vote. And outside of officials who don't talk to the media after a mistake-ridden game, this is a joke that the ballots are not revealed.
Public.
And
100%.
If they were to announce who voted for whom, there's no way 10-plus people would have not voted for Bill Belichick to get in the Hall of Fame because they would have gotten so much negative feedback. But the fact that they can hide under a rock,
Totally agree.
they go ahead and do it. So
Totally
we're going to have
agree.
a spirited conversation.
That
on
is
this
a
tonight.
great point. Every vote should be public. I agree
Should.
with that.
Yep.
Yeah, right?
Heisman votes are public.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Rick Ballou goes into the night. That comes up right now. That'll do it for our program. Tomorrow we'll be out at UNF. Yeah, I look forward to that. JU last week, UNF tomorrow. Nick Morrow, the AD, is going to join us. Bobby Kennan, the basketball coach, will join us. Lee Smith will stop by. Talk golf. We got a busy show tomorrow live at UNF, our first trip to the UNF arena to get set for UNF basketball. We look forward to that. Rick's next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.